and the Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriritam kalmashapaham shravanamangalam srimadatam bhuvi grinanti e bhuridajanaha. Last time, in our last lecture, we were discussing that Sri Ramakrishna, he was talking about different type of yoga, Hatha yoga, Raja yoga, Mantra yoga, Laya yoga, Jnana yoga, Bhakti yoga, Karma yoga, Kriya yoga. So all these, so many varieties of yoga, so many varieties of ways to reach to God, to be associated with God. So that was, and then we also discussed about the different chakras, different plates, different places of the yogic places like Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agga Chakra and Sahasrara. Today actually the Dasera. There's a wonderful, almost the same way to our timing also, but it was Friday, June 15, 1883. I am reading from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, page 245-46. It was a holy day on account of the Hindu religious festival. Then obviously so many people came and the conversation was going on. All the devotees who are coming, the people who are coming to Sri Ramakrishna, they are asking different questions and he is giving the answer. Now today one gentleman was asking, can one realize God while leading the life of a householder? That's a very important question, very, very pertinent also. So can one realize God while leading the life of a householder? And Sri Ramakrishna, with a smile, he is telling, why not? Live in the world like a mudfish. That is a wonderful example he is giving. Worldly things means what? What is this world? Me and mine. It is me and mine, and that is the causes of bondage. That is the causes of suffering. Now, if one can understand that, why I am suffering, not only in this life, also the lives that will come afterwards, then what is the cause? Effect is suffering. What is the cause? That to find out the cause, we find that is the bondage, it is the attachment. So that if we can manage, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, why not? Live in the world like a mudfish, unstained. This is very important. The mudfish living in the mud, but the moment it is coming out, there is no mud. So unstained. While we are living in the world, we have to live in that way too. Unstained. What is that stain? That is attachment. The moment I am thinking that this is the place or the things that I am doing, without me no one can do. Before me and after me no one should be able to do, so that people will remember me. This type of psychology 100% in the human being, and that is the cause of suffering. Recently I was reading an article, they published in Indian paper, whether the Barack Obama will miss his plane, and the president's plane is a special plane. So obviously after a few months he is going to be retired, somebody else will come, he will then use that flight, this plane, and will he miss it? So the article on that. The human association, he was knowing that this doesn't belong to me, but for the period of his presidentship, obviously he was using that started thinking that this is mine, started developing attachment to that, and that caused the problem. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling: do your duties in the world, fixing your mind on God. Mam anusmara yuddhacha. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna said to Krishna long, long back, Mam anusmara, think of me, yuddhacha. Sri Ramakrishna is telling only live in the world, but Krishna is telling yuddhacha. Then you go and fight. Fighting is a terrible thing, killing people and also protecting oneself. So that way, Mam anusmara, remembering me. So that is the secret of service. Karma yoga, what is the karma yoga? We talk about karma yoga. Through karma, through action, by performing duties, one can realize God. One need not to meditate. One need not to go to temple or church or mosque. One need not to do any other things except remembering God and the divinity constantly, every moment, and working. This one of the direct disciples of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Brahmananda ji, he is giving a very practical instruction. Now the problem is, people are not serious about spirituality. People are not serious about God realization. They want something that will stimulate them. They go and then they will be singing the bhajan, they will be jumping, dancing, thousands of people will be there. And they think this is religion. That may be, but primary level, very, very primary level. If you go to a school where only the kindergarten is there, what do? All shouting, jumping, moving from one classroom to another classroom, then going to the play. All these things are going on. Children are drawing and painting. So many other things are there. Only beginning. That is not education. Education is deep pondering. Education is the capacity to take decision. Education is the capacity to understand subtlety. That is education. And that is the beginning only. Similarly, in spiritual life, when we are doing all those things, that is also religion, but very, very beginning. And here Sri Ramakrishna is giving the excellent instruction, but very few understand this, very few are interested to take it, but that is the only thing that can save us from the suffering of this world. What is this? What Sri Krishna said long back in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam anusmara yuddhacha. Similarly, this our Brahmananda ji is telling, just by analyzing and expanding the instruction of Sri Ramakrishna. When you are going to your office, she was talking with some people who are working in the offices. When you go to a job, keep a photo of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna in the drawer, or maybe in your wallet, maybe in your pocket. Take it out. Just before starting the job, before starting the work, take it out, the photo of Sri Ramakrishna, look at him, pray to him, this is my puja, this is my worship, please accept. And do whatever you are doing. No changes, nothing. Then afterwards, a teacher or an engineer or the doctor, whatever may be the profession, in between if you get a recess, then again take out that photo and again you see that photo and pray to him and keep it. Only 1 or 2 seconds, that's all. But your mind is going back and getting attached. Mam anusmara yuddhacha. Practice in the presence of God. There's a famous book. What is that practice? It's this thing. Presence of God means constantly remembering God. That's why the Hindus have developed the system of diksha, mantra diksha. They take the mantra from the Guru and go on repeating. Why from a Guru? Because that tradition, they're coming, the same name of God, but after practicing and realizing the truth that is coming down one after another through the parampara, through the succession of the disciples and the children. So that is the way it goes. So this is important. Why? Manana trayate. As we are going on repeating, that helps us. Today one gentleman, American gentleman, he was asking how to meditate. So we were discussing about that. What is the purpose of meditation? That is the main thing. Purpose of meditation? To get peace, happiness, and in all situation, all environment, all position, tranquility, keeping the tranquility. So that is how we can do that. We can do that by taking the name of God repeatedly. So Sri Ramakrishna is pointing out the craving for worldly things, which is chronic in persons. There is no end to the craving. Vasana. Vasana in Sanskrit they call the craving, desire. One after another desire. One desire is fulfilled, another comes up. That is fulfilled, another comes up. There is no end to it. That's why the karma, there's a symbol, is the wavy water. The waves never stop. It goes on and on and on. If somebody is standing at the shore of an ocean and thinking that when it will stop, then I will go and bathe in the water of the ocean, he can never do that because it is not going to stop. So continuously the waves after waves of desire is coming. So this desire is the problem for our. Where from the desires are coming? Association. When we are associated with something, the moment we see, we hear, we start thinking about that, and that association brings us many other things. That's why in the householder's life, they were very much careful about the character of the tendencies of a man and a woman, a girl and a boy, so that their tendencies should be the same, or otherwise always problem. If someone is thinking it is okay, this is sufficient, and another is going on thinking, no, I need this, I need that, and going on pestering over that, and to get that extra work, extra money, and forgetting the God, the purpose of life. And then after some time it finds you can never satisfy by getting all those things. So the craving, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, the craving of the worldly things, which is a chronic, and there is no end to this craving. The worldly things, because it passes away. Today I have purchased a TV, and after a few years again the new brand has come. So naturally I want to give away that one, a new. After some year again new. There is no end to it. Same thing with each and everything of the worldly thing. One cannot think of God unless one lives in solitude. Sri Ramakrishna, he is telling there, what is the way, sir? One cannot think of God unless one lives in solitude. So the discussion, can one realize God while leading a life of a householder? Then Sri Ramakrishna answers, why not? Live in the world like a mudfish. And then he says, do your duties in the world, fixing your mind on God. But this is extremely difficult. Do your duties in the world, fixing your mind on God, but this is difficult. That's also warning he is giving. This is really very difficult. Then he says, why it is difficult? Because the craving for the worldly things, which is chronic, and one cannot think of God unless one lives in solitude. This is a wonderful the conclusion. One has to go, must have to go in solitude. What is this solitude? Now, in the Shiva Samhita, we find Lord Shiva, he is talking with Parvati, and he is telling, Tajjati, Tajjati Sangaha, Sarvatha Tajjati Brisham, Annatha Nan Laved Muktim, Satyam Satyam Mayoditam. This Lord Shiva is telling, emphasizing the solitude. Give up association, otherwise there is no chance of liberation. Now, this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there was a spiritual retreat was going on, and that was discussion was the Brahman. What is that Brahman? Our own reality. And when you go back to the reality, what happens? Liberation. Liberation from what? Liberation from what? What is the bondage? Ko nama bandha, katamesham agata. So there is a question, where from the bondage comes? What is the bondage? Desire. Where from the desire comes? Association. In the Bhagavad Gita we find Sangat Sanjayate Kama. Now goes on and on, step by step. When we are having the association of a person, association of a thing, association of a place, then the desire comes. Sangat Sanjayate Kama. Then Kamat Krodha Abhijayate. Wherever there is a desire, and if the desire is not fulfilled, the next step of mind is krodha, anger. So see how wonderfully they have analyzed the human mind. We talk about God, we talk about spirituality, we talk about brotherhood. Most of the people, without knowing the basic of the religion, they talk about that. And that is the reason no one in real happiness. And that is the cause is the Shanga. What is the Shanga? People have lot of other things they are ready to do except the solitude. They do not like to go. Even if they go to in the solitude, there also they will discuss about the worldly things. In the life of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, we find that he is going with one of his very close disciple. He was the landlord, is a rich man, Mathur Babu. And the Mathur Babu took him to a place, very holy place, that is our Kashi, Benares in English they also call the Kashi, the Benares. And in Benares also the Mathur Babu invited some of other landlords, their friends. They were sitting over there discussing about the cost of the properties, cost of any other things. They were discussing about the business, what type of thing we should purchase, what is going low, so that we can purchase and keep it and then sell in a higher price. Sri Ramakrishna, he was beating his head and told, Mother, where you have brought me? Is this holy place? And in this place, people are supposed to think about Shiva. Shiva is the personification of renunciation, Tyaga. And we are thinking about the worldly things. And why you have brought me over here? I don't want this association. I was happy in Dakshineshwar. Now it depends on how sincere we are. Lord Shiva is telling Tajjati, Tajjati, Sangha. See, the Sangha means association. Association of a person who is constantly thinking and talking and behaving very worldly way. He cannot think of anything else. And if you are having the association of that person, know it for sure, his thoughts will influence your mind too. And when you go to the movies, association. When you read a book that is also talking about these worldly things, association. But if we are reading a very holy book like the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, or the Bhagavad Gita, or the Bhagavata, then the Upanishads, that association is constantly inspiring us to be disassociated. Now, two things are there: worldly, spiritual. One is world and the spiritual. The world is temporary, and God and the spirituality is permanent. If we go to the God and spirituality, peace, happiness, joy. If we go to the worldly things, a little bit of joy in the beginning, then lot of trouble comes. Constantly, again and again, it comes like that. So that is called, Shiva is telling, give away, give away, give away. And the Krishna also told, give away. Sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodha vijayate, krodhat bhavati sammoha. And from the anger, wilderness comes. We forget everything. All judgment goes. And we start thinking, this is the thing I must do. Whatever comes, let it come. He forgets that after doing that, he will be suffering. Then it makes him mad like thing. Sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodha vijayate, krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhrama. All the past, the teachings, advices that he received, he forgets. Smriti vamshat buddhinash. What is a buddhi? The decisive capacity of mind. Nishchay atmika buddhihi. They decide, they take the decision, that is called buddhi. That is also gone. And then he plods and he fights, and suffering, suffering and suffering. If we research any action, the people are suffering, if we go to the cause, when you see the person is suffering, we feel, oh, why people should suffer? Go and research about that person. If you can go back to the really, you will see there is a cause. And cause began with association. And that is all these things. Tajyate tajyate sangha, sarvatha tajyate brisham, annatha nanabhen mukti, satyam satyam mayoditam. Who is telling this? Lord Shiva. The Lord Shiva, and at the same time we find almost the same thing in the Kularnava Tantra. Nishanga eva mukta syat. Doshaha sarvehi sangaja. Because of the association, all problems, the parents are very much all the time watching the children, what type of friends they are having. Because they know from their experience that association, the children, they are playing with other children also, but what type of children? The association, because they know that this will come, impress on their mind, it may influence them. So they like to take to the good association. So that is called Nisanga eva mukta syat. Surely, if you are not in a bad company, then there is a possibility that you will get liberation. Doshaha sarvehi sangaja. That is, the association is the greatest defect. Dosaha sarvehi sangaja. All problem comes from the association. Association of what? Of bad things, wrong things, temporary things, and this suffering. Now those who you keep information, news about our society, in Indian society, there are so many cases are going on, and all those people who were at one time, they were so rich, now they are behind the bar. Why? They were having lot of money, and they were going on cheating people. As we read in that newspaper, as we come to know about that, they were going on cheating and collecting fund and giving it to the powerful people, political association. What for they were doing? How much money one needs? How much? Suppose the fleet of flights, maybe 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 flights are there waiting for him. How many he can use? A little thinking, then he will understand, I don't need all these things. This is sufficient for me. Yeah, I need a comfort. But how much? So that is so once we started disassociating ourselves from the worldly things, peace comes. And along with the peace comes respect. Whole society respects only those people who are disassociated from the worldly things. Lord Jesus was having nothing. And his parents were very ordinary people, very ordinary. Even from the family lineage, he was having nothing. He was having no property. He was having no education. He was having nothing. Then why people, half of the world is bowing down at the feet of Jesus? He was only having one thing. This association, which is called renunciation. And that is the reason the whole world is bowing down at his feet. Same thing with the Lord Buddha. No one goes to his father. No one remembers his father. Most of the people do not know even what is the name of his father. But everyone knows Lord Buddha. Why? He disassociated with the worldly things. He actually renounced the worldly things, and that is why all people goes at his feet. But those who are now propagating in the name of Lord Buddha or in the name of Lord Jesus, they are decorating themselves with all ornaments and jewelries. That is the fun. Our Sangha, they will go, and that's why this association with the worldly things, name, fame, appreciation from the worldly people, that is also association, worldly associations. Wealth and property, of course, associations. Connections with the influential people, associations of the worldly things. So that we have to understand. And Manu Maharaj, he is the lawgiver of the Hindus, and he is telling, Eka eva charan nityam siddhartham asahayaban siddhim ekasya sampanyam jahatina hiyate. This Manu Maharaj, he is telling, asahayaban, asahaya. Ban means the one who is not having any sahaya, support. Helpless, asahaya means helpless. Eka eva, all alone. There is no one there to help him. But if he goes on crying and blaming and cursing, no, he won't get the blessings of God. But at that time, if he is constantly depend on God, then if directs his mind towards God or Atman, he gets the success. Since the mind is free from other thoughts, liberation is ascertained. That is what the Manu Maharaj says. Eka eva charan nityam siddhyartham. Success is sure. To whom? Asahayavan. One who is not having any support from any quarter. Think of it. So we think that we need the worldly support? Not at all. Sometimes we think rich man is coming, or this person, influential people are coming, they will help us. Worthless. If the God is not willing, it is of no use. Even some people, if they like to help, if the God thinks that no, I am not going to take the help of those people, you won't take. So only association is only with God. If we get the money, if we want to do something good for others, it's good. And suppose we don't get, and we are not doing anything, that's also good. What is there? I have not taken the responsibility to remove all the miseries from the face of the earth. Have I taken? No. Only I am feeling that let everybody be happy. So that is the idea. Disassociation means not that simply I will quietly sit and then I won't do anything. Not like that. I am perfectly active, constantly thinking to do something for the betterment of others. But at the same time, I am disassociated. And that's why Sri Ramakrishna in the beginning, he said, it is very, very difficult. Asahayavan. What is that asahaya? This is the sahaya. There's sometimes some people, they come and they say, how could you do all these things? Then I say, asahaya. Because there is no one to help us. That's why we do. How come? Because there is only one person is there. But Swami Vivekananda, when his disciples and friends were telling, Swamiji, you have so many plans, how you think that you are going to do that? Then Swamiji said, of course, with conviction he said, there is a power at my back which is more powerful than the man, the devil, even the gods. That he is protecting me. That is the thing. Asahai, because the human support. Asahai may be some other thing. But Sahai is there. That strong faith. And Sri Ramakrishna, he is telling about this again. You have to spend a few days in solitude. Nirjan Vas. This nirjanata again and again in the spiritual life is very, very essential. In the life of Hazrat Muhammad, we find that he was having this solitude. In the life of Lord Jesus also, I think the 12 years period, he was having only the good association and the solitude. In the life of Sri Ramakrishna, in the life of all these great souls, we find this solitude. Solitude means going away from the worldly thoughts and worldly situations and living in the company of the holy, in thoughts, in meditations, and that way developing a wonderful spiritual life. So that is called the solitude. If God is responsible for everything, again that question is coming. If God is responsible for everything, then why should people speak of good and evil, virtue and vice? One commits sin also by the will of God. Isn't that so? One lady came, and her husband was telling, why don't you take initiation from the Swamiji? And the whole family are devoted. And then she was telling these things. No, I have to get the answer. Why God is giving so much of miseries and suffering to all these people? I have to know about it. Jokingly, I was telling, when you meet God, you can ask. But before that, to meet God, to ask this question, you have to realize God. And to realize God, initiation. So you take this opportunity. Now, this way, we are constantly thinking. Another person is also joining with this question. How can you understand the will of God? The wonderful questions. That's why I always suggest people who are little interested in religious life, spiritual life, read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Because that will clarify your all doubts. Why? How can we understand the will of God? That is a very important question. There is no doubt that virtue and vice exist in the world. Sri Ramakrishna, the master, giving the reply. There is no doubt that virtue and vice exist in the world, but God Himself is unattached to them. And in the Vedanta, this is a nice way they are explaining. In the Brahman, the realization of the Brahman, we were discussing. But the time is very short to explain all those things. Dashangulam, after creating the whole world, whole universe, everything, the God is away from that as if 10 fingers, if you are measuring the 10 fingers like this, Dashangulam, he is just away, that much buffer is there, space is there, gap is there between the creation and the creator. Why they mention like this? Atyatishta dashangulam. Tishta, he is staying there. He has created this whole universe. He has created it out of his own. But then he has disassociated it from him, and then as if there is a gap of 10, if we are measuring the fingers like this, the 10 fingers, that much space, as if. They are giving a just like that, Atyatishta dashangulam. The beyond this 10 space of 10 fingers, he is there. That means it's not the 10 fingers, but he is disassociated. That is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. He is unattached to them. There is no doubt the virtue and vice exist in the world, but the God himself is unattached to them. What is the meaning? Because virtue and vice both has come out of God himself. Where from the vice came? The vice came from God. Where from the virtue came? Of course from God. This is the speciality of the Hindus. They try to understand this very clearly. Not that the God is of course good, but at the same time the vice is also creation of God. And that is why there are so many other stories. Through the stories this has been explained. So here there may be good and bad smell in the air, Sri Ramakrishna giving an example, but the air is not attached to them. When the vayu, the air is flowing, if there is a flower garden, it carries the beautiful smell, fragrance. And there is something, rotten things, that also it carries. But the air is totally unattached. Similarly, the sky, the firmament, the space, we think that oh, so much of dust is there. No, it is not. Unattached. That is the speciality. The God has created this universe. At the same time, it is unattached. That is why Sri Ramakrishna, in answer to these two questions, one is, why God has created all these things, and then if he has created, why should we blame ourselves? For good and bad, he is the cause. And another, how we will understand the will of God? And he says, it has come out of God, but at the same time, God is not attached to these. And the conversation again turned towards the life of the householder. God has created, but God is not associated. Why? It is just like sometimes I say that the teacher, he is giving the classes in the classroom in the school, and he is narrating the whole thing, explaining the whole thing to the students. And then sometimes he is also hinting, mentioning this is very important subject and very important paragraph. This is all these things the teacher is telling to the students. Then the same teacher is making the question paper, and the same teacher is also seeing the answer sheet, and the same teacher giving the marks. Sometimes some are good, some are bad. Why? Because it has been given to you. The teacher has already said these are all bad things, these are all good things. The God has said this is good and bad from me. In the Bhagavad Gita again we find that that is the condensed, Bhagavad Gita is the condensed form of the whole Vedanta. And as it is wonderfully as it has explained, the condensed form of the Vedanta. There is a Lord is telling there is two types of Prakriti I am having, good and bad. Don't go for the bad, take the good. So that is the teaching is there. Now he has also given us that capacity to understand that capacity to take the decision. And now if we take the bad one, we have to suffer. That is the karma phala. So here Sri Ramakrishna Instead of going on explaining that, he said God is detached from that. You have to take the decision. Good is also there, bad is also there. Which one you like to choose? If you take the bad one, you have to suffer. If you take the good one, then you will be blessed. So next he goes to the life of the householder. The life of the householder is most important, because the whole society is depending on the householders. Very wrongly, I don't know why, many people, even the educated people, out of emotion perhaps, they like to break the family life. The family life, that is most important. That is why all the other stages, all depending on the householders. The students' life, the brahmacharis, they are depending on householders. Then the monastics, the monks, they are depending on householders. The whole society depending on the householders. If the householder life is bad, then how can we expect that good varieties of students will come, brahmacharis will come, good thinkers will come, good monastic sannyasis, monks will come? How can we expect that? It is not possible. That's why the importance has been given. But all through in our Hindu philosophy, a time came when some of the preachers came and they started talking about renunciation for each and every one. That was a wrong thing. And that is why the whole society became weak. That is why we could not fight back the enemies. And we had to be under their subjugation for many, many hundred years. And that is why still we are suffering. So once we take a wrong step, wrong decision, and suffering generation after generation. So philosophy is very important thing. So here Sri Ramakrishna, the only avatara who is giving most importance on both life, renunciation and householder's life. Householder's life is very important, and he says, you see, by leading a householder's life, a man needlessly dissipate his mental powers. One has to be very, very careful. If you are associated with the worldly things, your all energy, your association will take it out. Concentration is very, very important. And what is the concentration? He says, the loss he does incur can be made up if he takes the monastic life. One is householder's life, another is monastic life. Monastic life is disassociation and concentration. These are the two things. I was talking with someone. What is the monastic life? Give away. What is the householder's life? Hold it. That's all. Anywhere, any mentality, even the one who is having the cladding on a gerua, outwardly he will be a sannyasi, but if he wants to hold everything, the power, the position, the money, and the properties, he is a householder. And that is why we have to understand, one who is holding back everything, oh, it is mine, that means he is a householder mentally. Maybe that outwardly the garb that he is wearing, that shows that he is a renouncer. What is the renunciation? He is there, in there, but not of that. He is not belonging to that. Whatever the duties are coming, performing, but with a disassociated mind. So this is very subtle thing to understand. Very, very subtle thing to understand. Apparently, a person looking that he is very austere, he is walking on a barefoot, he is not putting the warm clothing even in the winter. That's he is a very, but that is only external. We have to see internally his mind, his association, his desire, and Sri Ramakrishna is coming to that. He is telling that Attachment to lust and greed diverts one from the way leading to God. Association or attachment to lust and greed. Kama esha, krodha esha. Again in the Bhagavad Gita, he is telling Kama esha, krodha esha. So Master Sri Ramakrishna is also telling, it is not lust alone one should be afraid of in the life of the world. There is also anger. Anger arises when obstacles are placed in the way of desire, which we hear from the words, mouth of the Sri Krishna, same thing. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. What is the rajoguna? Active. Rajoguna samudbhava. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. Then he said, Maha ashana, Maha papma, viddinna iha boirinam. Know it for sure that these are your enemies. Boiri means enemy. Know it for sure that these are your enemies. Rajoguna samudbhava. It has been born out of your tremendous desire for activities. The kama and then krodha. Kama esha. All desires, different type of desires. But to desire, there are difference in desire. I like to help people without being associated or expecting anything in return. That is not a kama. Sri Ramakrishna in other places he is also telling what is kama. So that he is giving some example, very simple examples they are giving. The kama is only that at the back of each and every thought, action, deed. I want to get back my reputation, or that I am doing, that people should remember it. That is called kama. Whatever I am doing, people should know and appreciate and acknowledge that I have done. That is called kama. But the same work when we are doing with totally disassociation is not kama. The same work. The Ramakrishna Mission Sannyasins, they are imparting education. So many monks, all of us, we were there associated with so many different type of activities. We used to go and to help the people when they are in distress. Maybe there were floods were there, earthquakes were there. Still our younger Swamis, they go, they are helping them. Now where we went, whom we helped, we have all forgotten. We were asked to go to help them, we did, we came back, we forgot. We never kept the addresses of those people and to go on reminding them, do not forget that once I came when there was a trouble in your life and I helped. Never we do. But the same work when the other people are doing, with some this desire, remember that I helped you. The same work, but at the same time, only one difference. Remember that I helped you. The one drop of, in a dew drop, it fell in the ocean and then proudly said, remember, I gave a drop to you. You have got all this water. I also helped you to get that water. Mone rekho, ek phota, dilem shishir. Shishir means the dewdrop. We must remember. So look at this foolishness. Suppose you don't go and help, do you think they will die? Never. They have all things are there. But it is our benefit that we go and help. So Sri Ramakrishna very clearly he is telling, it's not the lust alone that one should be afraid of, but at the same time anger. So kama esha, krodha esha. Then the M is the master who was writing down the conversation. He was telling, sometimes one cat comes to my plate and it stretches out its paw to take the fish from my plate. But I don't know what to do. Shall I allow the cat to take it away? Or shall I? Immediately Sri Ramakrishna is telling, why? A man should hiss, but he shouldn't pour out the venom. He must not actually injure others, but he should make a show of anger to protect himself from enemies. Otherwise, they will injure him. But a sannyasi need not to even hiss. This is for the sannyasis, when the many letters were coming, some people, jealous people, as a research work on the life of Swami Vivekananda, one Shankari Prasad Basu, a very famous historian, he has researched on the life of Swami Vivekananda. Mary Louise Burke, and she was in America, in the whole Western world, wherever Swamiji went, she researched, and the Shankari Babu in India. So these two great research on Vivekananda, more and more new facts are coming up. There is a chapter in one of the volumes, there's some unhappy people. There, when Swami Vivekananda was here, and somehow he got that because of the blessings of his Guru and the help of God, he got successful, and the success was reflecting on the country. All the people, our Indian people, they were getting back the self-confidence. We can also do something, because they lost it during the 700 years, 800 years. Then suddenly some people, a very handful of people, but they were very active. They were going on sending letters against him. All these nasty things they were writing about Vivekananda. Some people are very good in criticizing and writing without actually helping. What happened to them? They are now in oblivion. But in only researchers, they took them out, and they were writing to Vivekananda's friends, and those who were helping him. No, he is a very characterless man, he's a bad person, this, that. They were showing those letters, and Swamiji was throwing it away, and he was telling, if you like, you can keep it, it is your letter. And Swamiji, you are not giving any reply, why don't you say something? Then Swamiji told, see, just like a real monk, he replied, he said, either they are criticizing or they are praising, they cannot ignore me. So just making the fun, I am a personality, you cannot ignore me. Either you have to criticize or you have to. So that way people are jealous constantly for whom? What he was doing? Helping the society, helping the country. He's those people. So the great contribution, only one man, 29 years old, he came, and then he returned from here, maybe 34, 35. So that young man, one alone, he was doing so much, but they could not appreciate it. So that is why this tremendous karma and krodha. And Sri Ramakrishna is telling, for that, worldly people should hiss. When someone went to Calcutta itself and was criticizing Vivekananda, all the Calcutta press, even the famous editor, so he came and told, Swamiji, tell us, we will throw him in the Bay of Bengal. He has come to the city of Vivekananda and he is criticizing Vivekananda. We will throw him out. So, and Swamiji told, no, you should not do that. So the Vivekananda, he showed the life of a sannyasin, because we depend on God. But people don't know sometimes, those who are depending on God unnecessarily, if you are criticizing, complaining, trying to create problem, all bad results comes to them. Why? God is heart. They are associated with God, depending on God, protected by God. So obviously, maybe that you are not very happy some of the decisions, but if you are going against it, and trying to create problem. This happens, and this one must be very, very careful. And a devotee is telling, I find it extremely difficult for a householder to realize God. How few people can lead the life you prescribe for them? I haven't found any. Devotee means again this master. He is a very intelligent man. Sri Ramakrishna immediately inspiring, and he is telling, why should that be so? When the devotee, under the name of devotee, the master was putting this question, it's so difficult. How many people will be able to realize? Immediately the master is telling, why should that be so? I have heard of a deputy magistrate. In those days, the deputy magistrate is the biggest post, highest post, because the Britishers were ruling. So deputy magistrate was the topmost post for the Indians. And one person, his name was Pratap Singh. He is a great man. He has many virtues, compassion and devotion to God, and he meditates on God. Certainly there are people like him. Even in the householder's life, there are so wonderful people out there. The practice of discipline is absolutely necessary. Why shouldn't a man succeed if he is practicing sadhana? Asking the question, Sri Ramakrishna himself, God himself, he is asking this question. If you are practicing sadhana, what is the sadhana? Disassociation from the lust and greed. That's all. That's all. If you are practicing this sadhana, then why one not get the liberation and the vision of God? The practice of discipline is absolutely necessary. Why shouldn't a man succeed if he practices sadhana? Then he said, real faith, faith in the words of Guru. The Guru's word, that should have the faith. Guru means one who is removing the darkness from the eyes of the devotees, a real seeker of God. What is the darkness? I and me conception, constantly thinking me and mine, I and me. So that conception should go, and that is called the faith in the Guru's words. Thank you, friends, for coming over here. And the next class we will listen how he is giving the example, disassociation, doing everything, but at the same time mentally, psychologically, he is convinced that I am not doing, God is doing. And that's why before taking any action, he is constantly praying to God, please hold my hand so that I do not make any mistake. Let us offer pranam to this great God, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, who took the human form for the betterment of the human, those who are trying to be good. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.